Hi, it's Christian, founder at carotul.com. We are the CCIE leaders, and today I'm going to talk to you about labs, so the hands-on, because we are now in week 42 about our Zero to CCIE program in 52 weeks. So we are at 10 days from the final exam, and we need to explain deeply not only to our students that basically they are completing the program so they know exactly how our structure works, because after 42 weeks they know very well, and they are approaching the multi-lab exam, but to other people, they are really interested and they keep asking me these questions during our conversations. So people, they are still not our students, but they probably will become very soon our students. How our system works, in particular for the hands-on, because this is a very interesting thing, and it's, let's say, what people want to know at the very beginning of the program. So today I will make a video totally dedicated to the hands-on so that everyone can understand clearly what's going on in this program, why this program is completely different from all the others, and any questions at the end, of course, you can ask in the comments below, or you can contact us. I will share with you a link where you can get an appointment with me, you can talk, and you can ask me any further questions. But let's start and let's talk about the hands-on. So basically, our program is based on the hands-on, but how we structure this is something completely different from what you see outside. So let's start from that. Let's start from the old way of teaching the technology. The old way of teaching the technology is very simple to understand. They tell you, this is the concept, now you can try to practice yourself. And this is the best way, according to the old school, to teach people and to ensure that people will learn. The truth of the matter, however, is that this is not true. People get confused and lose a huge amount of time, especially at the beginning, trying to set up their labs and trying to have the lab working and to configure the lab and to start with the hands-on. I can tell you because when I was a student, I'm still a student to be really honest, but when I was a young student several years ago, I tried to do this myself. I purchased old router, old switch, I connected everything, and I started configuring these devices. The problem is that you don't know where to start. And yes, you can even arrive to SSH, and you can connect remotely, you can do some basic configuration, but after you get stuck because you don't understand how to continue with your work and how to apply the new knowledge to these devices. Why? Well, first of all, you don't know how many devices you need, what kind of devices you need, and the configurations is much more complex very often that compared to your device. So this means that your device doesn't have enough commands to support the configuration you need, or you don't have enough ports, or you don't have the right models, or you don't have enough devices because you need a more complex environment. And you know what happened in this situation? Generally, people give up. I know, seems crazy, but generally people give up because they say, hey, I made a huge amount of effort. I purchased the devices. I trashed a lot of money and they don't work. I don't have the commands. I'm not able to configure them. You know what? I leave them there and they get dust, and then little by little you remove them from there and you try to sell it, or you try to forget your purchase and you give up. And this is crazy. Honestly, this is crazy because this is not the right approach. And personally, I believe the responsibility is because people, they provide this kind of training. I don't want to say are lazy, because that's not true, but they assume that everyone should be able to do the work on their own. And here we totally disagree. Here we have a mission. We have another point of view. We believe that you need to focus on learning the technology and on practice. So for practicing, what you need to do, you need to have the devices already pre-configured, which means you don't have to lose any time configuring the devices. You just have to practice the labs, and the labs have to be pre-configured. And you need to focus your attention on what's really necessary, not only to pass the exam, but to pass the job interview, because our focus is this. Let's start from us, from what we believe. We believe that you need a program completely simplified, step by step, sequential, meaning every time we introduce a new concept, we assume that you don't know anything about this new concept. And that's why our program is structured in 52 weeks. And let's see how our system is structured, and then I will go back to the hands-on so that you can understand clearly why our system is so powerful, and I will continue with the hands-on from there, and everything will make totally sense to you. So we start with 3 weeks of mindset, and people say sometimes, why 3 weeks of mindset? This is totally unnecessary. I don't need it. I want to start the technology right now, and so on and so on and so on. The truth of the matter is this is a program of 52 weeks. So the first thing you have to understand is that you need to think differently. This is not something that you prepare in a week, you go and you pass the exam. This is not a CCNA, this is not a CCNP, this is the CCIE, so 52 weeks. You need to understand that is a marathon, which means you need to stay focused every day, at least 1 hour per day, 5 days a week, and you need to be patient, and you need to set a long-term goal. So I will explain you all these things in the 3 weeks mindset, and you also need to change some behavior you have at the moment, because if you're looking at me today and you are really interested in these technologies, because you understand that you can earn an insane amount of money when you become a CCIE engineer, you also know that you have something that blocks you at the moment. And there are a lot of ideas that probably you have, they are not correct, and you need to change these ideas during the 3 weeks mindset. So this is necessary. There's nothing you can do. If you want to get a CCIE, you have to change your mind, and you have to start your approach to the technology in a totally different way. When you finish this, you'll have 4 weeks CCNA, and on the 4 weeks CCNA, you'll create your foundation. So if you are already CCNA, will be a massive review of the concepts. You'll notice that we'll give you much more than what you know now, and we'll give you exactly the information you need, not only to pass the exam, but also to pass the job interviews. This is our focus at any time. And then 5 weeks CCNP. And at this point, as you can see, you are 12 weeks, and you are at CCNP level. At this point, you have the core of our program, and the core is 20 weeks CCIE theory and 20 weeks CCIE Lab. This is the structure. Then, of course, we may have more weeks theory because there are new technologies, and Cisco introduced new technologies on the last CCIE enterprise blueprint. Therefore, we may have extra weeks to cover the new technologies between wireless, SDN, programmability, all this stuff, security. But just to give you the idea, you'll have 20 weeks CCIE theory and 20 weeks CCIE lab. And the thing is that what you really need to understand is that these 4 weeks, these 5 weeks, and these 20 weeks, so let's say in total more than 30 weeks, you'll see all the configuration already there. This is the truth, which means that every time we introduce a new concept, every time there is a concept explained, this concept is immediately followed by the configuration. So you'll see all the configuration step by step. However, you just need to watch the video. You just need to understand the concept. You don't need to practice straight away, because otherwise you enter in multitasking. Multitasking is a temptation that everyone has because we are in a multitasking environment. Our era is a multitasking environment, and this is terribly wrong. It doesn't work. Multitasking generates a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress, and people get mad, get confused, and they don't get results. Because this is the truth. If you want to get results, you need to focus. You need to focus on one thing at a time. And if you think it's too little, because you can do 5, 6 things at a time, well, you just lose a lot of time. The more things you do at the same time, the more time you lose. This is a free information I give you here, but I will reinforce this concept here during the first 3 weeks. This is one of the main reasons people fail, or they don't get results. And then they complain, they say, everything is so unfair, everyone is trying to be smart and poor me, all these things. Why? Mainly because they are multitasking. They don't understand this. They really don't understand. You need to do one thing at a time. You can't do more. And if you are constantly distracted by a lot of things, your results will be always poor. You will never get very powerful results unless you decide to be focused on one thing at a time. And this is exactly what we do. Think about the structure. Here we teach you to be focused, because this is the main reason we do the 3 weeks mindset. You'll understand, because I can't explain you this in a video. Of course, I'm just giving you an introduction now, but you need to change completely as a person, because of course, now you are a multitasking person probably if you're watching this video, but when you start our program, you need to be focused. You need to do one thing. Our program, nothing else. I mean, of course, you are going to work in the morning, you are going to have relationships, you stay with your family, you play with your kids. We know all these things, and we do the same. I have 3 children. I have my time dedicated to them, and I play with them, and I stay with my wife, and I have my spare time, my free time during the day, all these things. However, when I work, I do one thing. And people from the outside can also say, well, but you just do one thing. Well, there is a difference in understanding. If you do one thing, you do something. If you do more than one thing, you don't do anything. You just lose your time, and you show the others that you are very productive, whilst in reality, you are just losing an incredible amount of time doing a lot of things at the same time, and at the end of the day, you look stressed. It seems that you are doing an insane amount of job, an insane amount of activity. You just lose time, and you don't progress towards your goal. Why? Because you are doing too many things at the same time. So I hope this is clear, but I will explain you more during the first 3 weeks. But if you understand the process, what this means is that the first 30 weeks, about more or less, can be 30, can be 32, can be 34. The first 30 weeks, for the sake of the example, 30, are dedicated to the concepts. So you focus on the concepts. You are going to see all the configuration step by step during the first 30 weeks, because again, every time there is a new concept, we introduce it, and then we show you immediately after the configuration. However, you are going to see this from the conceptual point of view. So from the theory point of view. and you start having a look at the configuration without focusing on the configuration. And I will repeat this to you at all stages during the first 30 or 32 weeks of the program. You need to focus on the concept only. And someone asked me, is necessary for me to take notes, or I can just watch the videos? Well, you can decide what to do, because at the end of the 52 weeks, I will provide you all my notes. So 1,300 pages of notes in electronic format, and this will be yours. And you'll get the link so you can make your own copy, and I will ensure that this will be updated at all time, because this is really a live course that will continue to be basically active even after the end of the 52 weeks. And I will explain this to you later. So we understand now what happened in the first 30 weeks. You'll focus on the concepts. And then you still have about 20 weeks, more or less. And 20 weeks here, I know that 30 plus 20 is 50 and not 52, but you need to follow me. You need to understand from a high-level point of view the concept, the idea behind this program. So we don't focus on the details. We focus on the high-level picture of this. So 20 weeks is hands-on. And this is what we are focusing today. Because this video is about hands-on, so if you had the patience to wait until this moment of the video, congratulations, because a lot of people don't have this kind of patience. They start, and if the video is longer than 30 seconds or 1 minute, they don't continue, and if it's more than 10 minutes, no way, I will never watch a video like this. I need to give you this information because you need to understand the context. You need to understand where you are living today. And if you understand this, you'll realize why a CCIE engineer is paid over $10,000 or $15,000, even $20,000 per month. People, they don't believe, say, what are you talking about? You can earn $15,000 or 20, in Italy they say $20,000 per year. No. The truth of the matter is that according to your level, according to your knowledge, according to other skills you have, for example, if you are English, mother tongue, you have a massive advantage because you speak the language, the most important language in the world, as a mother tongue, as a native speaker. This is a huge advantage you have. And according to these factors, you can earn up to $200,000 per year, even more if you accept concepts. So the reason is because there are few people able to wait 52 weeks and be focused 52 weeks learning these kind of technologies. It's not because these technologies are so complicated. It's not because everything is so difficult. It's because people don't have the necessary patience, and also because they don't have the right program. But in our program, we solve these two problems, and you realize now why the last 20 weeks are so crucial. So let me describe for you what happened here during the last 20 weeks of the program, which is basically half the program. So what happens is this, that the theory is over, and you start receiving the hands-on. So how the hands-on, the assignments are created, and how you are going to perform the work on a daily basis. Which system are we using? I will explain you everything right now. So first of all, our system is based on EvenG. So all the labs are created using EvenG. And don't worry, because during our CCNP phase, we start providing you already there the instructions to install EvenG on your device. What you need on your side, you need a Windows machine. So you need a Windows machine and a Pentium processors. So we highly recommend Pentium, not AMD. I know a lot of players will disagree with me, but I'm sorry, this is not something, this is not a game, this is something for making money, this is something for making a career. So Pentium, Windows and Pentium. There are options to use also Mac and to use AMD. Personally, I highly recommend Windows and I highly recommend Pentium. Why? Because we are using a virtual machine. So if you are into IT, you'll know that this combination is the right one, because everything on a virtual machine generally is designed for Windows machine based on Pentium processor. Concerning the hardware, I personally recommend 32 gigs of RAM. If you have 16, it will work in any case, because we created all our labs with a 16 gigs device, just to ensure that if you have 16 gigs only in terms of RAM, will work. However, I recommend at least 32, maybe even better if you can expand in the future to 64 is even better, because if you have to make an investment, if you have to buy a new device, it's better getting something that has more RAM, because as you can see, everything goes very fast into IT, so it's really clever if you have to spend like $300 or $400 for a new machine, for a new desktop device, to purchase 32 gigs RAM, possibly that you can expand possibly to 64 at least. This is my recommendation. And of course, I highly recommend desktop device instead of laptop. The reason is because even if you believe that it's much more comfortable having the laptop, the truth is that the desktop is much cheaper, still works better, and you can have high specs compared to the laptop, and it's really important that you create a space in your environment where you are doing the labs, and you should make this with a desktop computer. This is my personal recommendation. Then I know there are exceptions, and if for you money is not a problem, okay, you can purchase an expensive laptop. I'm not against it, but there is still a difference between a desktop and a laptop. So my recommendation is this: desktop computer, at least 32 gigs of RAM, Windows machine, Pentium processor. This is what I highly recommend for the labs. When you have this device, we are going to provide you everything. Again, we provide you clear instructions on how to install EVE-NG, the version that you'll need for the labs. And we provide you everything. We provide you the licenses, we provide you the instructions for the installation, and also all the commands step by step in a video to install it in less than 20 minutes. So when you have done this, and this is, again, is something that has to be done quickly and easily, and this is absolutely included in our program. You don't need to waste 1 hour or 2 hours with these things. You need to have these immediately created so that you can practice. We'll provide you during the last 20 weeks, every week, everything pre-configured, meaning you receive a PDF from us, you can download in our program, with all your assignments. So you'll have exactly the questions, and you'll need to configure the environment we propose you according to these questions. And you'll get a diagram, so you'll see the topology, so you can print it, or you can just have it on your monitor so that you can understand at all stages what is the scenario and how to deal with it. And of course, most important thing, the zipped files with the preconfigured environment. So you just import it on EVE-NG in half a second. You just press a button, import, and you have everything created automatically for you. So you can start immediately. Now, there are also the instructions to use EVE-NG, so you can see how easy it is to turn on the devices and to connect to the single routers, to the single switches. It's incredibly easy. And at this stage, you can practice. And you'll notice now that in a few seconds, you are connected and you can practice, that it's exactly here that you need to focus all your energy, all your power, all your time for the day. Because it's here that you become a real CCIE engineer, practicing. And you don't need to create the lab, you need to practice the lab. So now, it's very interesting because when you arrive at this stage, you'll realize, when you arrive more or less at the first hands-on environment, you'll have a mix of emotions. First, you'll notice that you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Why? Because your comfort zone was the theory. Was, okay, I have to spend 1 hour, I have to watch the theory. Oh yes, I understand everything, it's so nice. I understand everything. I feel already I'm CCIE. This is fantastic. I admit that is an amazing portion of the program. However, the hands-on are so crucial. And you'll feel a little bit worried when you arrive at hands-on. Why? Well, because you need to do the work. So now it's your time. Now it's time for you to show yourself that you can do the work. And why you have this mix of emotion? Well, the reason is because you feel like you don't remember a lot of things. And this is absolutely normal. Now, I need to explain you this much better because this is a program where we talk a lot internally because we really want to create the best program ever for the CCIE, and so far we did that. And we want to end this again with the best possible solution for the students. At the very beginning of this idea, we wanted to share everything during the last 20 weeks, meaning we wanted to share all the notes, we wanted to share all the videos from a student perspective, so from my perspective, with the labs, meaning with my solutions. So you'll see basically step by step all the solutions on the same labs you are receiving week after week from myself. But at the end of the day, we said, well, if we do that, you know what? We'll become multitasking again. Because this is exactly what the human nature wants, something multitasking. 3 things. I want the notes because I'm lazy and I want to check immediately the command. I don't want to review 20 minutes video to understand the concept again and to find the command. But the thing is, what about if I try myself before delivering? And this is what I did. And I said, well, the best thing to do is sharing all this material at the end of the 52 weeks and not at the beginning of the 20 weeks hands-on portion of the program. Why? The reason is because you need to focus on the hands-on. And so I try myself because I am the student in this program. I have the best teacher in the world, so I'm comfortable as a student. But I want to do exactly the same work as you do. And this is the reason why I don't touch my notes now. I really don't touch. I have the link because I created these 1,300 pages in digital format, but I don't touch them. I don't use them. And I understand that I forget something, forget a lot of things. So you know what I do? Well, I start my day watching the videos again. And I will give you an example. One of the first labs I did, very simple, very easy. I could make it even without watching the videos. But I did it. It was a CDP, Cisco Discovery Protocol. And there is a little exercise also about LLDP. So what I did is, first of all, I wake up in the morning and I watch the video straight away. And this time, because this is already the second time I watch this video, what I do? This time I focus on the configuration. So of course, I don't skip the theory because it doesn't make any sense. I don't want to rush. I want to review, and doesn't hurt to review a concept. However, I wait with my notes, this time the configuration. And this means that I have my notepad, and I just wait the moment in which Harpreet talk about the commands. And when this moment arrives, I take my notes. And this takes maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then I'm done. My task for the day is done. Now, I have to do the lab, but I have to be really honest with you. When you have this, you just did the lesson in the morning, and you start doing the lab, and everything is already pre-configured, works out of the box. You have the questions. You just have to connect the dot backwards, basically. Takes you minutes. And you'll realize doing this that still maybe you struggle with one or two questions, and you'll find the solution alone. And even if you don't find the solution alone, you know what happened? On the week after, you'll get the solution anyway. However, the solution on PDF, meaning you'll get all the commands needed to complete this job, but not the video. Why? Again, if you get the video, it becomes multitask. You go back to your comfort zone, and your comfort zone is watch a video. No, now you watch a video that you already watched because you had to focus on the hands-on, but afterwards, it's your time. You have to do the work. You have to use your brain and trying to find a solution. What is really nice that the more time passes, and the more you realize that the hands-on is less than what you expect. So you'll see all the single protocols. So you'll start with CDP, like I said, then you have VLAN, then you have Ether channel, and then you have STP. STP, for example, when I made the decision for week 41, I decided to dedicate completely STP only to the week 41. So I said, okay, week 41 is dedicated totally to STP only. And the reason is because I testing these things myself, and I tried to do STP and MST at the same time on the same week, and I said, you know what, it's too much, because MST is much more complex. Maybe it's something personal, because I remember once I was in Lausanne on an interview, a job interview for a Chinese company I really wanted to work with, and I didn't answer properly about MST, and I said, I knew I had to answer differently that question, and I realized that MST is much more complex than what I believed at the time. Was several years ago. And so MST for me is something that has a particular space in my life, and from that moment. And every time I see it, I want to know it very well. I want to know everything about MST. And to be really honest, STP is the first big protocol you'll find in the labs, so it has to be alone. And you'll feel like, okay, but it's only 2 labs. Well, but it's STP and is a week dedicated to STP. You should be happy that you have only 2 labs in week 41. At least this was our decision, because we said putting MST also would be too much. And honestly, we received only few comments. Maybe I can say one person said to me that it's too little in week 41. Maybe it's also because depends on the level of the students. This guy probably complained saying only 2 labs in week 41. Why? Because it's an advanced level and he wanted to go faster. But again, these are exceptions, and then I spoke to our student and I explained the reason, saying, look, I could put also MST, but would be too much for the others, because this is a program designed for people that start from zero. So I understand that if there is a person who has more knowledge, have to wait a little bit. And you'll see that you will have much more during the next weeks. In any case, I was happy that I got this feedback. I spoke to my student and I discussed, and I say thank you to him, because anyway, it's a feedback and it's important for me to understand. And to be really honest, I'm also happy that a person complained about the fact that on week 41 there were few labs compared to what he was expecting, because it means that he has the energy to make more. But at the end of the day, you have to understand, it's 52 weeks. We complete the program in 52 weeks. So obviously, there's no need to do more on the single week, because we are covering all the material, all the program on the 52 weeks. So you'll see, of course, that when you arrive in week 43 or 44, you'll find much more and you need to work more. So probably at that moment, you'll feel, was so nice week 41 because I had only SDP. So this is the emotions, because it's always a decision to create 2, 3, 4 labs per week. And we do this according to the protocols, because again, when there is a very important protocol like BGP, I cannot create, let's say, BGP and another topic, because it's impossible to do it in 1 week. So I try to test this myself and then creating for the students, so that the students will have the best possible experience. And so far, I can tell you, everyone is incredibly happy. So I'm sure that at the end of this program, everyone will be CCIE, because if you keep practicing in this way, if you keep learning things in this way, at the end, of course, you'll get your result. So let's now focus on what will happen at the very end of the program, because this is what's going on now. We are focusing on the single protocols. So as I said, CDP, VLANs, let's say subnetting, Ether channel, and then STP, MST. When we finish PPP, when we finish the layer 2 stuff, we jump into the layer 3. So we have EIGRP, OSPF, BGP. And when we finish completely all the layer 3 stuff, what happens is that we are checking the new technologies, because we have to also validate your preparation for the new version of the exam. But at the end of the program, you'll get from us something really massive. So mainly 3 things. So this is at the end of the week 52. You'll get all the notes. So 1,300 pages of my notes in digital format. You can download, you can make your copy, and there you'll find everything. You'll find all the notes and all the slides, so that you can refer to this during the final preparation. And this is not the final preparation. This is still the hands-on. So you still need to do the work, use your brain, use your effort, reviewing the videos. This is very important. But at the end, yes, at the end I will give you, I promise, because this is important for you to have as a reference, because it's very important that you have it. The second thing, you have a session with few other students. So there will be 2, 3, maximum 4 students per session, with the trainer and myself for the final preparation. This is important. because we'll explain you how is the new structure of the exam, and you are going to prepare it with us, and we'll explain you how you need to make the final preparation. However, there is still one thing, and this is probably the most important. You'll get all the solutions at the very end of the program based on videos from myself as a student. So you'll see all the solutions of everything you already did, step by step, question after question, videos from me. And this will happen at the very end, so at the end of the week 52. Why? Because if you are still stuck at that point, you are not, because you can see at that point all the solutions in a sequential order from the beginning of the labs till the end. And again, this is something that I can't give you now, because if I do it, some people can say, okay, I'm lazy, I watch straight the solution. This is not the idea. You need to do the work. And when the work is completely finished, at that point, yes, you can compare your solution with mine at the end of the program. And this will be a very good review, because you'll compare something that you did actively with something that you can watch passively. And you'll see week after week, because I will create all these things at the very end of the program, so that you'll be able to compare little by little everything for a certain amount of time. And then, guys, the only thing we don't give you is your digits, because the only thing we don't do for you here is we don't go and we don't make the exam for you. This is illegal, and we don't do it, especially during the pandemic. It's something that we don't want to do. It will be personally very difficult for me. The most difficult part of this process for me will be attempting the lab exam. Why? Because my best place to attempt the lab exam is Singapore, and the situation with the pandemic is still serious, and the lab is closed, so I can't go there. And I checked other locations. It's very, very complicated. There was one space open in June in Tokyo, but I don't want to do something like this, because when you see a situation in this moment, in this way, I really need to wait that Singapore will be open so that I can attempt my exam there. Or an alternative would be Dubai. I don't want to go to Brussels. It's too far from Thailand. It's 10 hours flight or even more. I don't want to do that, to be really honest. I will try all the possible to go to Singapore or to Hong Kong. But at the moment, as you can easily understand, there's no way, because everything is basically closed. So this is the main problem for me at the moment, having the possibility to go and testing there on site. So to conclude this video, which is very long again, as you can see, the process at the end is just doing exactly what the others tell you to do at the beginning. You have to do it at the end in a very focused way, in a way where you start the last 20 weeks and you'll never go back to do what you were doing before. The only thing you do is at the beginning, you'll need still to watch some video just to refresh yourself with the technology, and just to refresh yourself with the comments, because you really need to remember some command, and then you have to practice. At the end, you have to practice. It will be uncomfortable, but you have to do it. We provide you everything, so you don't have any excuse. You just have to practice. And this part of the single protocol is so important, because it's the moment where really you understand everything about the single protocol part, which is the real core of the CCIE. And then at the end, doing the multi-protocol is just a combination of the single protocol with a complexity, because of course, when there is a mixture between protocols, there is a complexity due to the fact that there are extra behaviors, extra commands, extra scenarios that you need to be aware of. But again, here you'll see everything until the end. So at the end, you just practice also the multi-protocol. We'll give you a recommendation on how to practice the multi-protocol. And that at the end of the day, going to this exam will be something that completely different from what you expect now. It's something where you'll be really relaxed and you'll need to arrive there certain to pass and to get your digits. And again, I will make also my exam, so I will show with a video, no, of course not the exam because I cannot going into the center with the camera and showing you my exam. This is illegal, of course, but I will show you the day before, the day after the exam, and then I will show you the result, if I passed the exam or if I didn't pass the exam, so that you can understand also from a real student perspective if the program works or not. What I can tell you is that irrespectively from the fact that I will pass or not the exam, this is a detail, to be really honest. I know there is a cost involved. I have to travel $2,000 for the exam, I know. But it's a detail because in this program, you really learn the core technology. So this is very important. This is something that you really need to understand here. We are so different from the others. Why? Because our goal is not that you pass the exam. You pass the exam, I'm telling you, if I pass it, you are going to pass it. But this is not the focus. The focus here is that you learn really to study. You learn really the technologies. You learn really how to arrive to a job interview, get your job. My success here is not because you're going to pass the exam. You are going to pass the exams, but it's not this. My success here in this program is that I see students coming and say, hey, you guys are really incredible because I got my job. I passed the job interview. This is the moment where Arpit and myself really celebrate, because it's the moment where we realize that we got feedback, we got what we wanted, we got you to get the job and get the money and change your life. This is really our goal. Then again, the exam is very important because we understand everyone want to challenge themselves, and we understand that the exam is very important at a certain point. When you decide to get the CCIE, you say, oh, I want to pass, I want my CCIE, I want my digits. It's not so secondary as you say. Yes, it is secondary because you arrive there, you have the knowledge to pass, you are going to pass. But think about it, the exam is just a way to get your digits. When you get your digits, you need to go to a job interview. And when you go to a job interview, you need to get your job. And you need to get your salary, and you need to show them that you know your stuff. And this is our focus. That's why our program is so successful. Then when we talk together, we say, hey, this is exactly the right direction, because we see what happened. People, they start with a CCNA, they get a job. CCNP, they get a job. When you have a CCIE, you'll get a massive job, something that changes the game. You can get another level. Or if your goal is not getting a job because you have already a high-level job, you'll be more relaxed because you'll know so many things, and things that now makes you stressful won't in the future, because you know how to face, how to study, and how to learn to troubleshoot, and you learn so much here that I'm sure that you won't stop at one CCIE, because afterwards, when you get your first, you for sure want to continue the journey, because this is something that becomes addictive. Because you see the result, you see that you increase your knowledge, you increase your salaries significantly, and you don't want to stop there. You want to continue, and that's why as soon as we finish with the 52 weeks here, we are going to continue with the second CCIE. We're still discussing at the moment, but for sure we are going to continue with another CCIE online. Of course, just to conclude this video, I want to remind everyone that at the end of the year, we are going to reopen our school. If you follow the news, Thailand little by little is reopening, which means that you can arrive, you can test, and you can come into the country. So the visa is start to be not like before, it was very easy, but little by little we are going to go back to normal, hopefully. So at the end of the year still we plan to welcome you here in Thailand, in Bangkok, for our CCIE program in class, 2 months training, 8 weeks in class, 8 hours per day, 5 days a week, so 40 hours per week, and 320 hours training. But of course, we'll have also the CCNA, the CCNP, and of course the option 0 to CCIE, where you'll start, you do the mindset with me, then 1 week CCNA, 2 weeks CCNP, and 8 weeks CCIE. So I really hope to see you here in Thailand as soon as they will reopen the borders completely, and you can get your hotel, you can enjoy a long holiday here, and you can have your 8 weeks CCIE training. Of course, if you are already our 0 to CCIE program student, you'll get a serious discount on the school, so on the physical class. So contact me for any information, and I can propose you a fantastic price for the physical class. And if you are not, you can talk to me and we can find a solution. Maybe you want to start with the 0 to CCIE program online before coming to the school. I always recommend this because the best way to attend the class is to have already some basic knowledge about the technology, so that when you arrive, you get the best benefit from the class, from the 8 weeks in class. So for today, I said everything. Of course, you will have also hands-on here in Thailand with us. And so I will teach you more about this when you come to our school here. For now, today was a video dedicated to the hands-on for the online training. If you are interested in our 0 to CCIE program in 52 weeks, just contact me. It's an amazing program. You pay per week, so you don't have any risk. And at the end of the 52 weeks, you get your CCIE, you become a CCIE engineer, you'll change your life. Thank you, and I'll see you into the next one.